There's also customer due diligence requirements. If you go to page 9, and you do have to have customer due diligence on all of your accounts, but it is particularly higher risk when you have marijuana related companies. One method to try to figure out, okay, there's a lot of marijuana related businesses out there, and there's a lot of moving parts here. How do we know what, you know, what type of due diligence is required? And I would say one method to do that is to really break down what types of marijuana related businesses do you have. And if you look in your materials here, there's some suggestions on how to do that. So like tier 1 is a high risk marijuana related count. You could categorize that, right? In your enhanced due diligence, you say, okay, we have tier 1 MRBs, and they are the companies that are actively distributing marijuana. They're the companies that are actively handling the plants or the products. Okay, they're the highest risk because they're actually touching it. Maybe you bank them, maybe you don't, but you've categorized them and carved them off as a separate type of MRB. And then you have tier 2 MRB. So let's go to page 10. That's where they're less risky because they're just receiving the funds from the marijuana related business. These are things like payment processors, packaging of the supplies, consultants, training. They're still related to the marijuana industry, but they're not actually processing the marijuana itself. So that could be a second tier and maybe have different types of rules. Maybe you'll bank tier 2, but not tier 1. That's a way to kind of start carving this up. And then you have the tier 3 SAR. If you look at number 11, or tier 3 marijuana related business, where these are the companies that aren't related to the marijuana business at all. They don't touch the funds, they don't support the industry, they just happen to be getting some of the money. So think of like attorneys, landlords, things along those lines, where it's like we notice that's where they're getting the money from, but they're not actively involved in it. So that would be a tier 3 marijuana related business because they're still getting the funds, so they still qualify as an MRB. But maybe you'll bank those and you'll monitor them. You'll have a special program, and you'll have different monitoring for all 3. Or maybe you'll say, you know what, we're not touching 1 and 2, but maybe we'll do business with 3. And this is what our procedures look like with that kind of company.